finishing up the Little White Book of Tarot Ceremonial Magic by Lon and Constance DuQuette, currently printed by Next Millennium in Omaha, at where the cards are available. Anyway, I really appreciate your patience in sitting through a read through of what, in most cases, is a little white book that a lot of people just throw away when they get a new deck of tarot cards. Uh, but this little white book has quite a bit more information of a magical nature than might be expected from a little white book. It is no replacement for the full book, Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, that is published by Weiser, which is the definitive text for Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. But it is a very handy, the little white book is a very handy thing. But we're getting to the section of the divinatory meanings of each of the cards, and we're on the small cards and the court cards. And here it really is a very abbreviated, divinatory meanings. And if you're a beginning tarot person, this is probably what you go straight to when you practice reading cards for others. But anyway, as I said, Constance and I laid in bed with a pad of paper, and we went through each of the cards, and with our understanding and personal prejudices and everything else, hammered out the very briefest of brief divinatory meanings. So we're going to start going through the small cards, or the lesser arcana, okay? And I've got the lighting set up in a weird way so you can see the cards pretty good, I hope. Ace of Wands. We'll start with the suit of wands because the wands are the yod of Yod-He-Vav-He. Stand for fire and the highest of the Kabbalistic worlds, Atzilith, and the highest, most fundamental part of the human soul, Kabbalistic part, the Chai, or the greater Yeshama, Neshama, or something. But we'll just wrap it up. The life force itself, the Chai, like Lechaim, to life. Okay, enough of that. Ace of Wands is the root of the powers of fire. Primordial energy is yet unmanifest. Seed of the will, masculine archetype, natural force, beginnings. The Two of Wands, dominion, first manifestation of fire. This is where we actually see fire as fire. Ideal will, independent and creative. Control over circumstances. Three of Wands. Established strength. Success, harmony, following struggle. Four of Wands. Perfected work. Completion, order, limitation. By tact and gentleness, a strived for goal is achieved. The Five of Wands. Strife, stress, destruction. Purgation preceding renewal, conflict, quarreling, vigorous, even violent belligerency. But please also take a note of the planet and zodiac sign combination, because it colors the meaning in any given reading. So bad sounding cards don't always mean bad things, and vice versa. Six of Wands, victory, exaltation after struggle, harmony, beauty, stability, perfect balance, accomplishment, gain. Now notice the colors in all the cards. They all use the 4 scales of color, predominantly the King scale and the Queen scale. Constance was very, very good about using the proper color scales. 7 of Wands, valor, equilibrium disturbed. See, because it's a 7, it's off that central pillar of the tree of life. Equilibrium disturbed, loss of confidence, difficulties requiring courage and tenacity to overcome. It requires you to have some valor, okay? 8 of Wands. Now 8 is that sphere of Mercury on the tree of life. Swiftness, sudden flash of activity, too much too soon, or at least sometimes. Speech, electricity. It sometimes means a phone call, letter, or message. Nowadays, electronic email. That's an email card. 9 of Wands, great strength, recovered balance and health, success following struggle, change is stability. When you're thinking about the question concerns health or recovery or recuperation, you're happy to see this card. Finally, the 10 of Wands. Oppression, blind force, violent energy, obstinate cruelty, self-devouring lust of result. Okay, now 10s are the very bottom of the tree of life, okay? And if you can imagine how the 10 of Wands, the Wands being the highest of the Kabbalistic worlds and the highest part of the soul, and you can imagine how paranoid the 10 must feel, thinking it has nowhere else to go in the cosmos of being. If it would just relax, it would know that there's a whole other world just below it, the world of cups. But we'll get to that in a second. The Knight of Wands, fire of fire, could be a proud, generous man, sometimes impulsive or brutal. Action, but indicates failure if not successful on the first try. Fire of fire, he's a firecracker, he blows up. Or he's a rocket, and he blows up with great velocity, but if he's not pointed in the right direction, he's going nowhere, or he's going to blow up. Also remember, each of the court cards is a I Ching hexagram, which definitely we don't have time to discuss right now. Queen of Wands, water of fire, a generous, attractive woman with great capacity for love, but on her own terms. Sometimes fickle, obstinate, and melancholic. Constructive work under the guidance of another. Or a beautiful redhead with a cat. Prince of Wands, heir of fire, an impetuous young man, strong and energetic, a practical joker, can be a cowardly braggart, sadistic and callous, struggling against the odds, but winning in the very long run. And finally, the Princess of Wands, Earth of Fire, a reckless, extremely individualistic young woman, ambitious and self-centered, sometimes domineering, vindictive, and irrational. Know that when you play with me, you play with fire. Okay, those were the small card wands. And now we go to the cups. The suit of cups. The Ace of Cups. The aces are the roots of the power of their element. They're not the elements themselves. They're the primal tendency toward the element. They're like, that's exactly what Kether is, number 1 on the tree of life. Kether is just the tendency to become a tree of life. But it'll do it. Okay. The root of the powers of water, primordial receptivity, the seed of love, feminine archetype, inspiration. The Two of Cups. I know that's silly. I know that's whimsical. I know that's cutesy. But it's also freaking true, okay? Two of Cups. Venus in Cancer. 2 ice cream sundaes in big old-fashioned cups like you got at the drugstore. Remember when drugstores had fountains? But anyway, I digress. 2 of Cups, love, first manifestation of water. Perfect harmony between male and female, ecstatic joy. And here comes my birthday card. Or my birthday small card anyway. See, July 11th. 3 of Cups. Abundance. Love bears fruit. Bounty. Enjoy, but mistrust the good things in life. But enjoy. 4 of Cups. Blended pleasure. Crowley actually calls this one luxury. Luxury, seed of the decay of pleasure, weakness, surrender to desire. This is almost like it's bordering on too much of a good thing. If abundance was a good, wholesome, nourishing thing, this is a good thing too, but it's getting to be a little more like luxury than just pure nourishment, okay? Blended pleasure. Moon in Cancer. Moon doesn't get too much happier than Cancer guys. Okay. 5 of Cups. Loss in pleasure. Now I like to tell people, this is a bump. This is a hiccup of pleasure. But that doesn't mean there wasn't pleasure to begin with. That doesn't mean that there still isn't pleasure. It's just a bump. It's a loss in pleasure. That's why we use the image of spilled wine. There's still wine. You had a little wine to begin with. Okay, there's a little, you could even lap up a little bit of wine that got itself spilled. But it is a hiccup. Loss and pleasure, Mars in Scorpio. He's pretty happy in Scorpio, but you know, Scorpio's got kind of that tendency to have a little darkness creep in there, okay? But I digress. Loss in pleasure, disappointment in love or pleasure, expected pleasure thwarted. Six of Cups, otherwise known as one of the two most fabulous, freaking best tarot cards in the entire deck, okay? Pleasure. Sun in Scorpio. Harmony. Ease. Fertility. Watch out. Not the gratification of artificial desires, but the fulfillment of the true sexual will. One of the best cards in the deck. Lon and Constance say. Okay. Now we get off that middle pillar on the tree of life and get low to number 7 in unbalanced. Okay. 7 of Cups, illusionary success. Debauch. Crowley calls it debauch. Addiction, false pleasure. External splendor but internal corruption. Guilt and deception. Okay, here's another thing you might accuse us of being whimsical again here. But you know, one martini is absolutely wonderful. 2 martinis is just mellows you right out and is pleasant. 3 martinis is on the borderline of that luxury card. Is maybe 4 martinis. Okay, but 7 martinis is illusionary success. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You think you're being charming to that person sitting on the bar stool next to you, and you have to excuse yourself as you run to the restroom to throw up. That's the 7 of Cups, illusionary success. Okay, 8 of Cups, abandoned success. Not an all that bad card, Saturn in Pisces, but it has its difficulties. Okay. Crowley calls this card indolence. Okay, you want to have a party? You buy all the liquor. You order all of the food to be catered in. You decorate the house. Okay, you cook. You cook for people. Okay, you get all set. You buy a new dress or a new suit so you can be host at the party. And you exhaust yourself so much getting ready for the party that when it actually comes time to mail out the invitations, you just say, it's not worth it. This is where you snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. It's indolence. You got great ideas, and you almost are ready to follow through, but you don't. That's abandoned success. Indolence, unpleasantness, sorrow plagues pleasure. The 9 of Cups, material happiness. This is that other card, best card I was telling you about. Material happiness, good fortune, joy, gladness, self-fulfillment. Jupiter in Pisces. Ten of Cups. Perfected success. Now see how the World of Cups gets along pretty damn well being a 10, okay? None of that paranoia of the Ten of Wands, okay? Perfected success. Satiety. One's cup runneth over and spilleth the carpet. Okay. Now let me find the court cards here for the cups here. Here we go. Talk amongst yourselves. Knight of Cups. Fire of water. See? Fire of water. An amiable man of innocence and purity, a dilettante, maybe passive-aggressive in temperament, and tormented by conflicting elements of his nature. It could mean failure unless extraordinary good fortune intervenes. The Queen of Cups, the best birthday card of all, because that's my birthday card too. I was born in that 30-degree period. Queen of Cups. See, she's water of water, so she's actually looking at herself. Water of water is like holding a mirror up to a mirror. That's why that image is the way it is. Queen of Cups, water of water. An inscrutable woman, attractive and popular, completely reflective of every impression she receives. And it just might mean beware of flattery, because others see only themselves in you. The Prince of Cups. That's my father's card. And the card of a few other people in my life that have taken that archetypal role. Air of water. A mysterious, subtle, intensely passionate man without conscience as ordinarily understood. Can be the victim of his own overreaching ambition. The essentials of success are goodwill, sincerity, and right mating. And finally, the Princess of Cups. Earth of water. Now, the princesses they have their elemental mix, earth and water there. That's the earth square, Tattva, and the water crescent. But the princesses and the aces don't rule time coordinates, they rule space coordinates. Okay? So the right smack dab in the middle of the coordinates at the Princess of Cups, which is water, you'll find the cherubic image of the suit that they're in. Water, of course, is Scorpio. So the quadrant of space ruled by the ace and Princess of Cups are the Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius quadrant. Earth of water, an extraordinarily gracious young woman who effortlessly radiates all sweetness, voluptuousness, and romance. And it could mean a symbiotic relationship. Might be indicated when that card shows up in a reading. Okay. Well, that took longer than I thought. Tomorrow, we've gone through the Yod-Hey suits of the Wands Cups. Tomorrow, we'll finish up the little white book by talking about the swords and the discs. And then we'll move on to something else. I've got something planned concerning almost like a Monday night class series set up that we'll be starting on Tuesday. and it'll be our kind of work on. It's not just a lecture, not just me reading, but work on Crowley's Class A document Liber Ararita, which those of you who are interested in the dynamics of the hexagram and the sort of the next step forward in integrating the macrocosmic magic of the hexagram, you might want to tune in starting Tuesday morning. Anyway, that's as much as of a plan that I ever do. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Also, check out all of those. All my pandemic videos are now in one spot. So if you missed any of them, please order. I'll put up the links again. Okay, do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.